I'm going to use the engine hoist. I'm going to go ahead and just take this thing off by myself. Pray for me. Oh my goodness. Ooh, that's got some weight to it, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm tearing down the Cummins engine, and we're going to take it to the weigh station, and I'm going to figure out exactly how much this thing weighs, so make sure you watch till the very end of the video. But I got a question for you. How much do you think this thing weighs? I think a Cummins engine weighs like 1,000 pounds, maybe about 1,100. How much do you think it weighs once I strip everything down?
500 pounds.
Final answer?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see who gets closer here. So watch till the end of the video.
You're gonna win on this one.
I know cold starts right in the beginning of a video isn't the most appealing thing to start a video off, but this thing's been sitting for about 3 days now, and it's gotten down to about 7 or 8 degrees here in the last few days. So let's go ahead and start this bad boy up. Sometimes it's not always a bad idea to plug in a diesel, but let's go ahead and start it up right now, see what this thing sounds like. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this truck warm up, and then we'll go ahead and hit the road. You know, there's days like this when the roads are completely clear, it's extremely cold outside, and I don't want to say there's no salt on the road, but the roads are clear. So there's definitely times in the winter when I can actually take my Duramax out on a drive. So I try to take advantage of that. But I'm actually headed to Harbor Freight. I gotta pick up a few tools for the Cummins. Just a few things that I'm missing in order to put everything back together. I'm still patiently waiting on that frame. Once I receive that, I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. You guys cannot miss that episode. But we have a lot on the agenda today. Extremely busy day. Gotta stay motivated. Today we are going to take apart this 24 valve Cummins. And this is the interesting spin on this video here. Make sure you watch this entire video. We have done numerous burnouts, tons of dyno pulls. This truck wasn't babied. It was babied as far as maintenance goes. As far as having fun with the Cummins, we were not easy on it. Mitchell had 2 turbos installed on this truck. We're talking about a compound setup with a built trans, you know, bigger injectors, lots of fuel going on, lots of tuning going on. So this truck was worked. I think the biggest reason why I'm making this video is because I want to know what the cylinder walls look like. I want to know what the piston rings look like. It makes you even wonder if there's a melted piston inside of that engine with all of the power that we've thrown at this thing. On top of that, of course, having a lot of fun. I turn the camera on, do a full teardown on a Cummins engine on my channel. We're talking the works, guys. We're gonna get all the way down and we're gonna pull the pistons out of this block. You guys gotta see this with me, man. All right, so we're back home, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this truck out of the garage because I'm gonna need all the space possible to tear this engine down. But before we get started, let me show you something really cool. I don't know if you guys missed that video. Look what I have in this bag. I'm so excited. This right here, I did a YouTube video on it, and Kodiak truck in North Prairie, Wisconsin. Mark, really good friend of mine. We do YouTube videos together quite a bit. He actually built this in-house. His company actually remanufactures Dodge transfer cases as well as Chevys and Fords and basically you name it. But this is more heavy duty versus the older one that I had. So I'm really excited to run this transfer case. Just a heads up though, guys, I know you guys see the red. You guys all know that I love my red trucks. I've already decided on a color. As a matter of fact, Mrs. Truckmaster decided on a color, and she made a good point. We're gonna go ahead and get this truck painted, but not the exact color that you're thinking. It's definitely not gonna be red. But leave in the comments what color you think I'm actually gonna pick for the Dodge. Let me know, I'm really curious to see. And one more thing, huge shout out to Miller Engine in Pennsylvania. I'll leave those guys' information in the description below, but I actually stumbled upon their Instagram page because they do some amazing work with these blocks. They actually hone them, they clean them, they make them pretty much brand new right there in their shop. So make sure you reach out to them, let them know that Truckmaster sent you. Really good guys. I spoke with the owner on the phone, and I got some really good information about what I should do. He also gave me some good advice about what I should do with the motor. The goal with this truck right here is to fully restore it, and not only that, we want to put 2 turbos on that thing, and you guys already know exactly who I'm going with on turbos. Ryan's Diesel Service. We're running 2 brand new turbos, and I'm not going to reveal the size in this video. My big goal with this Cummins is to hit somewhere between 700 and 1,000 horsepower. I just have a lot going on the channel, so if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe. But if you could do me a solid, hit that notification bell and hit that like button. That would really help me out tremendously. So without further ado, let's go ahead and tear into this engine. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on getting all this valve train stuff off. I've got to say though, removing these injectors are so much easier than a Duramax. You gotta love the one head and they're right here, you know? Good thing is I'm not really trying to keep this all in order because all this stuff's getting replaced anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and put all this to the side and then we're gonna go ahead and remove the head. Nothing to it, guys. Pulling these injectors, I love it. Basically what I did is I took a bolt from the rocker arm and I'm just gonna screw this right into the injector on the top. Just wiggle and pull, it'll come right out. These injectors are 200 overs too, so I'm gonna be reusing these. I may actually send them out just to make sure everything's good. They're all within tolerance. Ooh, that one's in good. Oh, buddy. So I'm going to test out my Bauer crappy Harbor Freight 1/2-inch impacts. I doubt we're going to do anything. I may have to turn the air off. I'm just curious to see if this thing will even break a head stud loose. This is a 15mm 12-point socket. This will be interesting. Nope. Figure. Good thing is all these head studs are junk, so I don't really care how they come off. I'm gonna get rid of them. I'm not going to use the engine hoist. I'm going to go ahead and just take this thing off by myself. Pray for me. Oh my goodness. Ooh, that's got some weight to it, doesn't it? And I didn't take the manifold off yet. Holy cow. I almost dropped it. Hey, luckily I'm getting a new head, so it doesn't really matter. But wow, this thing's got some weight to it, doesn't it? Whew. Well, we got the head off. Now it's time to look inside the cylinder walls. Dude, I almost dropped it. All right, let's see what's going on here. All right, boys, it's time. Let's see what these cylinder walls look like. Wow, you can actually see the cross hatching. So far, so good. All the pistons look awesome. Not gonna lie, there was one thing that I was worried about, and it would be a melted piston, but it all looks really good. Even the cross hatching on the bores are still there. It's incredible. Crazy how clean these are. Cylinder walls look amazing. Keep going back and forth whether or not I should just go ahead and clean up the block at home and then just go ahead and bore it in with one of those drills, those 5.5-inch bore drills, using my power drill to deburr everything, all the cylinder walls, and just clean everything up and go ahead and just pack the block. But then again, like I said, guys, since we're already this far, we might as well go ahead and just do it right. So I did pull the head gasket off, and I must say, it looks really good. So far so good. Let's go ahead and get this timing cover off. I heard really good things about the performance dampeners for these Cummins, so I'm probably going to go ahead and junk this one. Well, I think that's all of them. So this is your VP gear, which is going to be tossed as well. Because if we go ahead and do the P-pump, all this right here is going to be replaced. As a matter of fact, this entire cover right here is going to be removed, and we're taking a cover off of a 12 valve to do the P-pump conversion. So this is junk. We don't need this no more. I'm going to go ahead and pull this oil pan off. And I can kind of see why it was leaking. It wasn't holding a seal at all, so. All right, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and just replace this oil pan while I'm at it because, there's one, don't wanna lose these bolts. But yeah, I wanna go ahead and put something a little more upgraded. This entire engine is just covered in oil, and a lot of it has to do with the lower oil pan, there's no upper. I'm a Duramax guy, so, but a lot of it has to do with the oil pan. It just wasn't sealing correctly. Really curious to see how these rods have held up over the years, especially with all the extra horsepower and turbos and stuff that we've thrown at this thing. So, all right, let's go ahead and tear this thing apart. All right, that may be a little easier. All right, we got it out. Awesome. So let's go ahead and pull the pistons out. If you don't know what the tappets are, when I keep talking about that, it's these guys right here. See how they slide out like that? Basically, with the gravity, with them sitting on the cam like that, it'd be impossible to pull them out because all those are resting right on the cam. So in order to do this, I just flip the engine upside down. But some guys actually use wooden dowels and rubber bands in order to keep these things sucked up into the engine so they can remove the entire cam. But luckily it's on an engine stand, it makes it so much easier. Alright guys, this is your oil pump. Again, another thing that I'll be replacing. Pretty much everything. See you later. Guys, we're going to go ahead and remove these rod bearings. One thing to note, and this is just for video reference for myself too, each one of these right here are numbered. Right here, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and remove the pistons right now. We'll inspect the bearings, and then we'll go ahead and pull everything out. I'm going to ship everything. I'm going to take all the parts and put them in another container, and then take the block and, of course, put it on a pallet, build around it, and I'm going to go ahead and just ship all this stuff out. But let's go ahead and pull this out. Bearings are definitely due for change. You can see a lot of burn marks. You can tell this engine's had a few smoky burnouts. But of course, we're never going to reuse this again. All right. Yeah, these are, you can tell. I don't know if you could pick that up, but yeah, you can see that on camera. But you see some burn marks on there. All right. Good thing though is all these bearings look like they're wearing evenly, but lots of burn marks on them. So let's go ahead and get these pistons out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. I'll go ahead and lay all these out in order for you. Guys, so let's sum this up right now. I'm not going to remove the crankshaft, but I'll tell you what, this crankshaft is in beautiful shape. I was looking at everything and just inspecting it all, and it looks so good. So I'm not replacing the crankshaft. I'm going to reuse that. I've heard some really good things about these crankshafts and these Cummins engines. They can handle a lot of power. And then of course we're gonna leave the rear main seal. We'll leave all that there because of course all that's getting replaced. I'm gonna be getting her shipped out. I know someone's gonna call me out on that screwdriver. You know what, it worked. This is a heavy girl right here. This engine probably weighs about 1,000 pounds once everything's put on it, but yeah, that's a heavy engine. Definitely had the cringe factor when using this little Harbor Freight 2-ton engine stand here. It works though, works good. Be the rundown. Of course, we're not going to reuse the cam or the cam gear. Front timing covers will be junked as well. Well, not junked. I'm going to keep them in my spare parts, of course. The dampener, of course, I'm going to be replacing. I will be sending off all the pistons. I inspected all the piston rings, and they look really good. No broken rings. Everything looks really nice. As well as the cylinder walls, I'm pretty impressed with the fact that you can still see the cross hatching. And then with over 200K on it, it's really just an immaculate shape. Because like I said, we're gonna be installing a towing cam that's gonna be capable of holding up to 1,000 horsepower. We're gonna be installing probably Molly pistons. With the wrist pins on the pistons, these things are so beefy. I'm not worried one bit, so I'm gonna reuse those. And of course, I'm gonna reuse the rods. I took a Duramax rod right now and was to line it up with one of these guys. It would look like a little play school toy. I need to quit talking because, you know, knowing me, one of these will actually break. All right, anyways, moving right along. The head gasket, really good shape. And of course, like I said, we're junking the head studs and we're keeping the injectors. I would like to send these out, get them cleaned, get them, you know, refurbished or whatever. Of course, all the valve train right here, I left all that alone. The push rods itself, those are gonna be replaced as well. Since I'm shipping the Cummins out, I decided to go ahead and put it on a pallet and, you know, boxed around it and whatnot, put a strap over it. But really what I'm trying to figure out is how much this thing actually weighs. What I have going on here, I have the Tahoe hooked up to the trailer and I'm gonna take this thing to the weigh station, get it weighed, and then come back and then load this thing and then put it on the trailer, get it weighed again. And then of course, subtract the heaviest from the lightest and we'll get our number. Any guesses? Let's hit the road. I think it's gonna weigh about 800 pounds. That's my guess. All right, so 9180 is the gross weight. We're gonna come back to the scale with the engine and see what we come up with. You guys just see that squat? It's gotta be pretty heavy. We have everything loaded up. See where we're at now. This is our ending weight right here, the gross weight, 9840. We subtract that from 9180 and we come up with 660 pounds. I was a little off, wasn't I? But it seems heavier than it really looks. So I need to figure out how much money I'm gonna spend in freight to get this thing shipped to PA. Definitely, I think it'll be worth it. I gotta say, it was pretty satisfying tearing that Cummins engine all the way down to the block. I sent some pictures to Mitchell, my brother-in-law, the previous owner of this truck. And Mitchell was blown away how well that engine looked. The bore still had the cross hatches still in them. It was crazy. I pulled the wrist pins, the bearings inside of the actual rods. They didn't look too bad, but a little burnt. Nothing horrible though. But overall, the rings look great. Everything just checked out. Everything looked beautiful. I think I got a pretty good block. Again, this thing's going to Pennsylvania at Miller Engines. the guys there are going to go ahead and rework the block, and on top of it, they're going to do some pretty cool stuff with that engine. We're going to put some goodies in there, so make sure you stay tuned. We'll go ahead and reveal all that stuff in a later video, but I need to focus on that frame. We're going to make it look beautiful. We're going to make this truck almost show quality, if not show quality. And I'm going to do this all single-handedly in my garage. So thank you guys so much again. We'll see you on the next video.